Welcome to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Uncle Ronnie. And now, here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Welcome to the United Socialist States of America. Why do we say that, Eric? Why do we say that?
Might be extended lockdowns, excessive tyrants.
At any rate, we have Eric Winnook here again tonight. He's been paying penance for for a mistake that he made last week.
I do apologize again.
And we have been working this week on some things because we have been locked down, as many of you know, and probably most of you around the country and the world that are watching this show have been locked down as well. And we think that's kind of a violation of our civil rights.
Yeah, I would agree. Completely.
And Americans are getting pretty fed up. And here in our state, at least, we on the 15th, we were able to come out of the house. We were able to get a haircut. Mm-hmm. And if we had nails, the place next door was open, and you can have your nails painted. Have you done that?
Nope, good. No? Check it out. All good.
So Eric and I, we've not done that yet. We may go over there right after the show. But at any rate, tonight we want to talk about something that's really interesting. We've done a lot of these things. We're going to talk about some of the things that we have been doing here, some of the things that you have been doing in other states. And especially, we want to talk about China.
China!
Because we believe that most of the problems that we have here, at least now in our country, have come from China. It's been imported, exported, I don't know what you want to call it. It's been brought over here by ship, by plane, I don't know what all. So
by cash.
So we want to start out, and this is really important because we're going to talk about some local political issues. We have a fellow by the name of Mark Kelly. He's running for the United States Senate from Arizona. Now, how do we tie that in to China? Well, there's a really interesting way we tie that into China. First of all, he was an astronaut, one of the last pilots of our space shuttles. I think it was the next to the last pilot of the space shuttle, and he married one of the local gals here that was a representative who happened to have been shot. Gabrielle Giffords, and she, it was a terrible thing. Had some kind of a nutcase that went out and shot up a number of people, including her, but he killed about, how many, 4 or 5 people?
At least 5.
Well, at any rate, this was a sad story. She married this astronaut, and typical of the political arena, the Democrats grabbed hold. She was a Democrat. The Democrats grabbed hold of him and said, guess what? We can make you a United States Senator. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure that being an astronaut is good training for being a United States Senator. At any rate, he's running in our state against Martha McSally. And for all of you that are in Arizona, you need to pay attention to this because there is a China link with Mr. Kelly.
And it's not small.
It's not small, and it's scary. It's doggone scary. So what I'm going to do here, I got my little, these are my special effects here. Notice this?
Christmas plates.
My Christmas plate and my non-Christmas plate. We're going to use this to illustrate what's going on. So this, do it this way.
There you go.
I don't know if you can see it. Hard to see.
Perfect, right there.
Worldview, whoop, 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 there it is.
There it is.
Worldview Enterprises. Now, this is an interesting company. He's a co-founder of it, mm-hmm. and it's out of Tucson. It's got a Delaware registration, but
certainly
it's
does.
Out of Tucson. And Worldview was an idea that he had for transporting people into space as tourists.
Correct. On balloons.
And on balloons. They were going to take them up to approximately 90 to 100,000 feet in a spacecraft. I don't believe they would be launched into orbit, but They would be at least up that high.
Exactly.
And so what they've done, they started this great company, and that was in 2014. So we're going to put that here. Remember, this is Worldview. This is the company.
Co-founded by
Mark Kelly. So there it is, right there. Now, they've done a lot of these things, and like any corporation that starts out, they need money. And who had an overabundance of money?
10 cent.
10 cents. Kind of, you got 10 cents? That's the name of the company. Yes, it is. It's 10 cents. Okay, this is going to represent 10 cents. Now, don't think of it as what most of us would think of as a dime. It's not a dime. Worldview spokesperson, 10 cents, invested. Sorry, got the wrong one. Worldview contracted with NASA. I'm still got this messed up.
It's all right.
But 10 cents put money into this, okay? And I've got these things, and I've got them in the wrong order, unfortunately. I don't know how. Did you do that?
Well, when you do that, Ronnie, 10 cent, understand what 10 cent is. It's one of the world's largest communications companies.
It's a Chinese.
In the world, and it's a Chinese company, and they own a text platform called WeChat, which is a text platform,
Right.
much like WhatsApp or something of that nature. But understand, it has over 1 billion users.
There it is.
There you go.
Okay, so there it is. And yes, it's the WeChat in Asia, especially in China, is our version of Messenger, okay, or Hangouts, whatever you want to call it. So they invested $15 million into Worldview. Now, what happens when you put money into a business?
You get access to everything.
You get some access, and you get a little bit of clout when you got money. My whole point is this. Politically, there's too many people that are interested in money, and they're not interested in public service. This is another case. Kelly was interested in money and not service. So we ended up with this 10 cents, believe it or not, has been looked at by the Justice Department and many other agencies of the United States, and determined that it wasn't a good player. In Asia, they were spying on people, they were doing espionage and so forth and so on, and they were purchasing a lot of what they were doing to buy influence within this company, of which Kelly owned a share. He still does, by the way. He still owns about $250,000
Up to $500,000, and don't forget his daughter is still the director of business development for Worldview, which has investment money from China.
That's right. That's right. So now, the United States Justice Department was looking at it and found out that they were hacking technologies off United States companies from this company, that they were using this as a platform, okay? And so we got another little thing here. Now, during this whole process, Kelly's decided to run for the United States Senate. Not by accident. The Democrats had
they drafted him.
primed him for that. And he also has gotten a $5,000 stipend, I guess it was a donation, from a guy named David Wallerstein, who is the chief exploration officer of Tencent. Now, he's not Asian, he's not Chinese, he is an American, but he has given money to Kelly to do this particular job.
But understand what he does. He is responsible for the company's operations outside mainland China, overseeing business initiative with multinational partners. So he clearly has direct connections to China.
Exactly.
With Tencent.
Exactly. So, we've got... Now, here's what's happened with Worldview. Remember, it started out, they're going to take this balloon and lift a spacecraft of some sort up so people... And they're going to spend $75,000 for this little experiment.
Per passenger.
Now, during this process, Eric, NASA said, hey, wait a minute. This is not a bad idea to lift these things with this balloon. It's a lot cheaper than building a shuttle and launching it.
Yep.
Than to get this stuff up into orbit. So NASA has been doing this. Interesting. Now all of a sudden the technologies we're using are American technologies being partially owned by the Chinese.
So what you're saying, Uncle Ronnie, is that Worldview has secured NASA contracts, which are typically our taxpayers pay for the NASA money, give NASA money, which Tencent now has access to all that particular data.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Interesting.
And, by the way, it's doing some secretive stuff for the Department of Defense. The U.S. Department of Defense now is using the Worldview as well. And the Chinese have some ownership in this, and you can imagine they also have employees involved with this. So now Kelly has put this on his financial statements, which he has to do by law, but he hasn't divested himself of any interest in this. So the next thing, Eric, that we look at is, as long as you have a interest in this, your daughter has a high-paying job in this, is this something that you're likely to continue on even though you're a United States Senator, because it affects your pocketbook and it affects your children's pocketbook? Is there, at this point, any reason to believe that a decision that he might have to make as a United States Senator might be slightly tainted?
Well, there's no doubt it would be tainted. But more importantly, Uncle Ronnie, the problem is he is a Democrat. No one will hold him accountable in the media or likewise that he has this investment,
Exactly.
that he started this organization, that he sold out to China.
So now, it goes on top again of the original company. And we got, when they started looking at this, Eric, and this is another thing, the Tencent people said, this investment actually came from Mount McKinley. This is another company. By the way, Mount McKinley is owned by Tencent, and their addresses in China are the exact same address. Now, Mount McKinley is strictly an American
Go
thing.
figure.
And so we ended up with the same basic thing. When the press went to ask the people at Mount McKinley how they were tied into this thing, they refused to answer. So what we have here, Eric, I think we've got another case where we've got somebody running for Congress that is going to be lining their own pocket. They are in a political party that only understands brute force in the United States. The Democrat Party must be in control. That's what they look for, control. Mm-hmm. And who is their big financier? China, of all countries. Mm-hmm. And let's look back just for a moment, and we think about Biden, not Joe, but Hunter.
Oh.
And he's a capital venture. And
right.
He's got, what was it, $1 billion?
$1.5 billion from China invested in his so-called investment organization company to, spread around, which is unbelievable to me. And mind you, he did that with flying on the vice president's Air Force One plane to China. Right. 2 days later, he gets $1.5 billion.
And of course, Joe Biden says, well, I didn't know anything about that. Well, at the time, I found that rather strange. But now, watching Joe Biden, I don't know the guy knows what day it is, so he probably has a good excuse for not knowing what his son was doing.
Right.
And so here we have money influence coming in from China, and it's affecting the United States again. We have NASA that's being influenced by this company because NASA is buying services from Worldview.
Awarding contracts to Worldview.
We have the United States Department of the Defense that is buying services from Worldview. Mm-hmm. And the real question then becomes how many people do we have involved in this thing that are not Americans, that do not have our best interests in perspective here? I think we're screwing ourselves if we elect Mark Kelly. And you need to know about this.
No
and
doubt.
You need to make this go. Put it on Facebook. Tell your friends. You need to do this. I mean, this is just ridiculous. We cannot continue to put Democrats in power. Listen, we're going to be right back on the other side. We're going to have a little fun here as well before we leave leave for some other issues that we're going to talk about. The Restaurant Association. We'll see you on the other side. Do not go away. Face for radio? I know I do. And when I found how easy it was to get started in an interesting, informative radio program, I jumped at the chance. Since AM radio program is being replaced by podcasting, you can even create your own programming from your home. Hi, I'm Ron Lutters, better known as Uncle Ronnie on my Fighting Back radio program. If you have a business, a hobby, or a passion and you would like to share that with others, then podcasting may be for you. With strong desire, some talent, and a deep passion, you too could get your radio message on your very own radio programming on Hub Radio Phoenix Network. We have one of the best broadcast engineers in Arizona to help you every step of the way. If you are interested in the enjoyment of podcasting, call me at 602-677-1496 to discuss the effective and affordable way to own your very own radio program. That's 602-677-1496.
Sight is a very precious gift. If the quality of your eyesight is becoming a concern, see a world of difference at Family Eye Care Associates. With over a quarter century of experience in the Valley, Family Eye Care Associates offers complete diagnosis and treatment of cataracts, glaucoma, diabetes and dry eyes, and thorough retinal evaluations with dilated exams and retinal imaging. Specialized doctors, highly trained and certified technicians, licensed opticians, pediatric and geriatric care, contact lens fittings, and high-quality lenses and frames at prices you'll like. And as always, all of this comes with friendly, personalized service. We accept most insurances and have 2 convenient locations in both the East and West Valley. Give Family Eye Care Associates a call now. In Scottsdale, dial 480-419-3900. For the Glendale area, dial 602-843-2900. Family Eye Care Associates is a proud member of Vision Source, a network of premier eye care practices.
Wild Tiger right here in Phoenix, whoa big fella, is reminding everyone to please give blood. By doing so, you may save the life of a child, surgery patient, or an accident victim. So give blood. It's safe, it's simple, and it's needed. That message courtesy of Wild Tiger at 2631 North Central Avenue in Phoenix, where they invite you in to enjoy the finest authentic Thai cuisine like Si Penang, Pad Thai, and ginger fish. Stop it or call 602-241-8995 for carryout. Wild Tiger is on the air because they care.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Join me live and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. This month, Quantum Digest is on special. It's the most purified U.S. peat plant enzymes. No matter what you eat, it has the power to support its digestion. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447.
You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Welcome back. We have Eric Winook here, and we've been having a joyous time talking about Mark Kelly and all the reasons you should not vote for this man. He's dangerous to not only Arizonans, but to the United States and to the Senate. Let's look at one of the things that happens. If, in fact, the Democrats take over the Senate and maintain the House, they will impeach Donald Trump. And that's crazy because Donald Trump has done an excellent job at especially this virus thing. And before that, we were heading for 30,000 points in the Dow Jones, and we would have hit it by now if this hadn't happened.
No doubt.
And so, another question, is this part of a scheme? But we'll just say no. Getting back to worldview, Eric, it's interesting. It's located here in Phoenix, but for tax purposes,
Tucson, right?
In Tucson. Yeah, I'm sorry, in Pinell County,
right?
Pima County.
Pima County.
And they had a little accident a while ago. One of the balloons crashed or whatever. I don't know if it crashed or blew up or what. I don't know how I don't remember that happening. But at any rate, it cost a lot of money. And this is once again, I just do not understand how government works, because they ended up needing another $15 million. And Eric, Pinell County gave them a loan.
Oh,
Pima County. I keep saying
Pima
Pinell.
County.
Pima County gave them a loan. And this, ladies and gentlemen, are taxpayer money. Why are the taxpayers supporting an industry, to begin with, that's a private business owned partially by China? And the taxpayers of Arizona, or at least Pima County, are paying for this. Now, guess what else happened in the process? COVID. So they stopped getting any interest on their loan.
Of course they did.
And so they're just holding it now. And at a time when we need all this money because the tax money's not coming in, neither is the interest money from the income of Worldview. So we have, once again, taxpayers eating something, and the Chinese are paying, are the ones that are getting all of the espionage details here and using it for their own benefit.
Well, and here's the issue with that, Ronnie, is the whole concept of Worldview was to have 400 employees by 2020. They have less than 100. They've just let another 10 people go because of COVID. So Pima County giving them a loan because they think they're going to get jobs back from it was a complete failure, much like numerous bailouts from the government, right?
Exactly. Listen, I want to get you one more time on this. You do not let friends vote Democrat. I'm sorry. I just, Eric and I have known each other a long time, and we're in agreement pretty much with all of this stuff. And we understand what free enterprise is, and it is not support from the government. It's not support from communist China. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. There's a guy by the name of Michael K. He's a podcast, pardon me? Mark K. And he does a podcast out of St. Petersburg, Florida, and he's very, very good. And recently, another senator from New York, another New Yorker, decided to write a letter to the President of the United States criticizing him for his handling of COVID. And just keep an eye on this. This is fun, and you're going to really enjoy this. Go ahead.
Donald Trump writes amazing letters. They're really good. What they tell you to do when you're angry is to type out like an email of everything you want to say to somebody and then delete it before you send it, and that way you get out of your system. Donald Trump does that, but instead of deleting it, he just sends it. And he sent one such letter to Chuck Schumer, minority leader and senator from New York. Here's what Chuck Schumer wrote to the president during the midst of this coronavirus crisis. He wrote, "Dear Mr. President, as the coronavirus spreads rapidly into every corner of our nation and its terrible grim toll grows more severe with each passing day, the tardiness and inadequacy of this administration's response to the crisis becomes more painfully evident. It is long past the time for your administration to designate a senior military officer to fix this urgent problem. While you continue to dismiss the Defense Production Act as not being needed, it is clear that the capacity of American industry has not yet been fully harnessed. This is a failure that must be addressed quickly. Sincerely, Charles Schumer, United States Senator." So Charles Schumer comes in hot at Donald Trump saying, "You suck, you're horrible, you're doing nothing, you got to fix it. Sincerely, Charles Schumer." So Donald Trump responds to this letter and responds to the criticism that he got, and now everybody's up in arms that the president would take the time to respond to Chuck Schumer with what, again, I say is one of the best letters ever written. And I hope one day when somebody accuses me of slacking off, I can write a letter half as good. The president begins, "Dear Senator Schumer, thank you for your Democrat public relations letter and incorrect sound bites, which are wrong in every way. Number one, as you are aware, Vice President Pence is in charge of the task force. By almost all accounts, he has done a spectacular job. Number two, The Defense Production Act has been consistently used by my team and me for the purchase of billions of dollars worth of equipment, medical supplies, ventilators, and other related items. It has been powerful leverage, so powerful that companies generally do whatever we are asking without even a formal notice. Number 3. A senior military officer is in charge of purchasing, distributing, etc. His name is Rear Admiral John Polozchek. Something Polish. He is working 24 hours a day and is highly respected by everyone. If you remember, my team gave you this information, but for public relations purposes, you chose to ignore it. Number 4, we have given New York many things, including hospitals, medical centers, medical supplies, record numbers of ventilators, and more. You should have had New York much better prepared than you did. As you are aware, the federal government is merely a backup for state governments. Unfortunately, your state needed far more of a backup than most others. If you spent less time on your ridiculous impeachment hoax, which went haplessly on forever and ended up going nowhere except increasing my poll numbers, and instead focused on helping the people of New York, then New York would not have been so completely unprepared for the invisible enemy. No wonder AOC and others are thinking about running against you in the primary. If they did, they would likely win. You have been missing in action, except when it comes to the press. This is my favorite part, by the way. I've known you for many years, but I never knew how bad a senator you are for the state of New York until I became president. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call. Or, in the alternative, call Rear Admiral Polozchek, something Polish. Sincerely yours, Donald J. Trump. I have to tell you, man, when you go petty at the president in a time of crisis, you have to know by now he's not just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. He's going to come back at you, and he's going to come back harder than ever.
What do you think of that, Eric?
I love it.
That's my president. I'll tell you, he is such a phenomenal president, and he does not put up with anything.
Ronnie, he is the master of, when they say don't bring a knife to a gunfight, Donald Trump holds the guns. Chuck Schumer brought a little knife. Donald Trump come out guns a-blazing. Sit down, Chucky.
And I can totally agree with what he said, especially when he says you're one of the worst senators,
right,
in the country. And he's the leader of the Democrat Party in the Senate.
40 plus years, and he's accomplished zero.
What a friggin' loser. I was almost going to say a bad word there. I
right.
wanted to talk about another thing here real quick, and that is buying products from China. And I've just got some numbers here. 78% of Americans are willing to pay more for non-China made products, and 40% said they will never purchase products that are made in China. That's almost impossible to do because there are so many things that were done. And here I have a little book here that it's called China Doll, and it's called China Doll, Clinton and Gore. These were President, Vice President of the United States, and it says, and the selling of the United States presidency to the Chinese. These are some of the men, Eric, that set this thing up. They sold missile technologies to the Chinese. They sent defensive stuff, and even, believe it or not, they sent nuclear technologies to North Korea.
You are correct.
And these are the people that, we've had some real tough dealings with, and it's because of men like Clinton, Gore, and the Democrat Party. I'm sorry, there's no other way around it, Eric.
No, listen, Ronnie, you said it earlier. There's no way in the world any of your viewers can allow anyone they know to vote for a Democrat, because the Democrats are great at lying and they're great at stealing, and all they want to do is have power and control over you, the individual.
That's true.
We can't allow it any longer. We have to stop.
Well said. I've heard that too somewhere before. I think I've said that a couple of times.
Many times.
Okay, well, we're gonna be right back. We hope you enjoyed the Donald Trump letter. We're gonna be right back. We've still got a lot to do, so we'll see you on the other side. Don't go away, because Eric and I are gonna be here, and we're gonna be fighting back.
It started 10 years ago as a conservative discussion group to combat leftist liberal ideas that were destroying the American way of life. Thus, the Arizona 2010 Project was born. Over the years, it grew and embraced the Tea Party and had a dynamic effect on local, state, and national elections. That's right, the political power of the movement has grown, and now, on its 10th birthday, the Arizona Project has moved to a bigger location and has expanded its vision. The Arizona Project is now producing podcasts, internet radio shows, video projects, along with the same history of obtaining impressive guest speakers and community leaders for our weekly meetings. The Arizona Project is now located at 3238 East Bell Road in Phoenix. For more information, call 602-677-1496. That's 602-677-1496. Please join us to promote the American values that have made this nation great and will continue to make it great. The Arizona Project, celebrating 10 phenomenal years.
Camelback Toyota, located conveniently on 16th Street in Camelback, off the 51 freeway, easy to get to right here in the city. You work downtown, stop on your way home, take a look at some beautiful new cars, used cars. Derek and John O'Malley Jr. and my mechanics in the back, Abe and Jerv and Tom, my man Jake, Felix, John Wicks is there, Levi. They are trained and trained heavily. They know everything backwards and forwards on any Toyota. Customer satisfaction, numero uno at Camelback Toyota.
Secrets of the Telephone Company and the Benefit of Pain. An all-new high-tech telecom thriller by Seth Friedman, filled with mystery, intrigue, and murder.
You are authorized to complete your mission.
Secrets of the Telephone Company and the Benefit of Pain. Now Adele paperback. Don't answer the phone.
Flynn's Flowers knows what the kid and you really wants.
Hey, hold it down.
The Flynn's Flowers snack pack is the perfect gift for anyone.
Thanks, this is just what I need.
Great. Now how about a kiss?
Don't push it.
Get a room.
The snack pack has cookies, chips, pudding, nuts, and lots of other goodies.
What's a goodie?
Read your script, kid.
See the snack pack live on the Flynn's Flowers website at flynn'sflowers.net. Order a snack pack today for that special.
Thank you.
Or send a snack pack to someone in the military. That's flynn'sflowers.net. Flynn's Flowers, the official florist of Air America Phoenix. The Flynn's Flowers snack pack. It's almost too big to eat.
These are great. Got any more?
What's that, number 9?
flynn'sflowers.net. Order a snack pack today and charge it.
Want a sucker?
Bubblegum?
That's flynn'sflowers.net.
Can I get a snack pack?
You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Hey, it's Uncle Ronnie. I'm back. Or is it Eric Winook with Uncle Ronnie? Or is it Uncle Ronnie with Eric
It's Uncle
Winook?
Ronnie.
Okay.
I'm just supporting Uncle Ronnie today.
I'm your uncle. Okay. At any rate, hey, we're back. We're having a good time here. Time's going real fast. But we've got another guy on the line. He's one of our favorite guys, and that's Steve Chukri. He's a member of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. He's also with the Arizona Restaurant Association. And this past week, restaurants began opening up again in Arizona, and we wanted to get an update on that. So, Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Ron, and good to hear your voice as well, Eric.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you too, Steve. Been a long time.
Tell us what's going on in the restaurant world. I haven't been out. I've been over to one place, but it's still closed.
Well, you might see that for a little while, Ron, but I will share with you that the good news is that restaurant dining rooms are slowly starting to reopen. and we're very grateful for that. We're grateful to welcome our guests back, but also the enthusiasm we've seen in our staff, our servers, our back of the house, all the componentry that goes to making a restaurant operate successfully. It's nice to see it all in place and in practice, and people enjoying dining out again in Arizona.
I've heard that there was some, because of all of the monies that the state and the federal government are throwing out to people right now, that there's some restaurateurs that are just saying, or at least their workers are saying, I don't want to go back to work until this unemployment runs out, because I can make more money sitting here at home on my butt than I can actually working. How's that working out?
That's a very real issue for not only our industry but several other service industries, and it's unfortunate because I think you and Eric and your listeners know that as good Republicans, we want to work hard, and by working hard, you do better in life. You better yourself, and as the old adage says, the harder work, the luckier you get. Well, I believe.
Isn't that a miracle?
Yeah, exactly. And I believe in that myself. But here's what we're finding. We're finding that some of our servers, some of our workforce, I should say, they're very excited to come back. Some are fearful because of being sick, and we respect that. But those who simply just want to stay at home and collect unemployment insurance and not come back to work because they think they're doing better by just taking public dollars and not having to work, the table's always round, as I like to say, Ron, and they're not gonna have a job. It's plain and simple. And what we've been working with the governor's office on is to say those folks who do not want to come back because they are simply happier just receiving unemployment, we should cut them off. We should say, hey, your job is here, you declined it, no more unemployment insurance for you.
I can't help but agree with you there. The golden parachute's not meant to live on. It was meant to save your family and yourself when times got bad. And I know I have friends around the world, and I know a lot of governments haven't taken care of their people. I know there's folks that are just waiting for food packages to arrive. We've been pretty fortunate in our state, at least, and of the 50 states. I mean, there's still a lot of them that are locked down. One of the states, Steve, I saw on television, I was really kind of amazed at this. I thought it was rather cute. They were doing the social distancing. But, Eric, one of the things they did, they had these tables, and they put mannequins at certain tables. So the restaurant looked full, like you might remember it when you go there, because it's a popular restaurant. So you'd have a table with real people, then mannequins, and then 6 to 8 feet away you'd have another table with real people and then mannequins again. And it made it look like the restaurant was full.
That's great. That's great.
Did you see that, Steve?
I didn't see it, but I heard it. Yes.
It was kind of, Americans are great ingenuities here to survive, and hopefully under troubled times to make life a little more enjoyable when it's not pleasant. But how many of the restaurants do you feel are open right now? Do you have a feel for the count?
I'm going to guess and venture to say about 50%.
Uh-huh.
And we're seeing some restaurants slowly come online. You have to remember, it's easy to forget that we also, as a state, are following the administration's gating process and the phases that the president has lined up and outlined for our recovery, if you want to call it that. And so as we get into the second phase and then finally, hopefully, the third phase sooner rather than later, I think you'll see more and more people coming out. But I will tell you that we have had full reservations, which is wonderful, and that restaurateurs who are reopened are saying, hey, their numbers are starting to come back, and it's great. Ron, we lost, just in the month of April in the state of Arizona, $815 million in restaurants.
Wow. Say that one more time so that sinks into everybody.
Yeah, and just a 30-day period. I mean, that's how critical our economy is to Arizona's economy. We lost $815 million.
Wow.
Massive number, Steve.
It is. And, of course, some of that is taxed, and it goes back into the coffers and helps the rest of the state with the things that are necessary services that are delivered to the citizens of the state. Well, Steve, one of the things, that, if you don't mind doing this, maybe perhaps tomorrow, we want to do a little segment here called Street Talk, and we'd like to do it on a local restaurant, if you don't mind, if you could find somebody that might be interested in a short interview on the Street Talk segment of our show. I would really appreciate that.
Oh, I'd love to try and work on that and find somebody for you.
Okay. Listen, we got to let you go. We got a lot to go ahead, Eric.
I got to tell you this, Steve. This was one of the coolest things. It was the 15th or 16th when restaurants opened back up. I go to My Pie on Cactus and Tatum, and it was so awesome to walk in to get my pizza, to see people sitting outside as a family enjoying their dinner together with smiles on their faces. It brought such joy. I'm like, we're clawing our way back. And, food is a big part of society and social interaction. And thank God we're getting back open.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And bless you for your efforts here by serving as the leader of the Restaurant Association and also serving as a member of the Board of Supervisors. We appreciate you a great deal, sir.
And that's mutual. That's mutual to both of you.
Okay, thank you. We
got a great job, Steve.
We got to move right along here.
Thank you.
Thanks. So when we left here, that I wanted to talk about is about buying things from China. Like I say, there's 40% of our society that says they don't want to buy anything from China. That's going to be virtually impossible. At least at this point. And I've done this before. I've taken this little product here. It's by a company called Polar. It's mussels. And I love this product, but it's made in China. Here's another product also made by Polar, at least marketed by Polar. And this is herring fillets in a mustard sauce. And I don't get anything. This is free advertising for them. But this is made in Germany. This, no. This, yes. If you're going to buy a product, and I went through the store this weekend, and I noticed there are a lot of products that are made in China, but there are a lot that are made in countries that I never, Morocco, I didn't know anything was made in Morocco, but I found some things that were made in Morocco, Indonesia, and I'm going to start buying those products instead of things that are made in China. And one of the things that I did long ago, and I shouldn't say I did this. No, I don't know who did this. See this little thing? Boycott Chinese products. You see that?
Did you make a bumper sticker?
Well, no, I know that there was somebody that went in stores and put these on little sticky notes, and they would, when nobody's looking, they would just stick it on a product. So that the next person in there would see, no, we're not going to do that.
That's funny. Well,
but I don't know who did that.
But to your point, Ron, think about it. What did we keep open during the crisis? We kept Walmart open. Yeah. Walmart sells 80% of their products come from China.
Yes.
Right? And you go to the grocery store, before this crisis, would you ever have had any idea that Smithfield Meats, when you go to your meat counter, was actually owned by the Chinese and by a Chinese company? Would you have known that?
No. And how many pigs in the United States? One in every?
Four.
4 pigs in
25% of our pork product, pigs, are owned by
China because they bought out Smithfield. So remember that when you're buying things for hams and turkeys for holidays, for Easter and Thanksgiving, you may not want to go with Smithfield. Sorry about that. They have a lot of jobs in America, but I think the companies need to be back. Eric, it brings me back to one thing that I'm just really, really pretty frustrated with, and that is this. Why is it that people can buy up American land from foreigners? And I used to have a house in Mexico. It was a beautiful house right on the beach. You couldn't ask for a nicer place. But I couldn't own it because it was Mexican property. I could only get a 10-year lease on it, and then it had to revert back to Mexico. Here, they can own our properties, and there's not much we can do about it. They buy up our businesses. They buy up our land. They buy places around the universities, and then they let the property appreciate. Then when their kids want to go to school, they send their children from China to American colleges, and then they live for nothing. Now they're providing a service, but those are services Americans can afford to buy as well.
No doubt. And fortunately, Ron, it revolves all around the almighty dollar. And it's the Chinese owning these particular companies that you talk about is much like cancer. It's going to kill us from within.
At any rate, there's great music being played. I wonder where Summer Place is. You usually play that. At any rate,
Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? Earth,
Yeah,
Wind, and Fire.
yeah.
I like it.
Don't play a Smithfield commercial, Mr. O'Connor. Okay, we'll see you guys on the other side. Don't go away because we'll be fighting back.
Come home to the gated community of Chrisman Peaks and 5,350 square feet of pure luxury. Floor plans include 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 4-car garage, home theater, even guest quarters. Breathtaking views are included at no extra charge. For more information, call 602-505-0004. Custom homes with the quality you expect, the value you demand. Call 602-505-0004 today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Join me live and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. This month, Quantum Digest is on special. It's the most purified USP plant enzymes. No matter what you eat, it has the power to support its digestion. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447.
Wild Tiger right here in Phoenix. Whoa, big fella. Is reminding everyone to please give blood. By doing so, you may save the life of a child, surgery patient, or an accident victim. So give blood. It's safe, it's simple, and it's needed. That message courtesy of Wild Tiger at 2631 North Central Avenue in Phoenix, where they invite you in to enjoy the finest authentic Thai cuisine like Si Penang, Pad Thai, and ginger fish. Stop it or call 602-241-8995 for carryout. Wild Tiger is on the air because they care.
For the best buffet in town, look no further than the Hometown Buffet. Food is prepared fresh throughout the day with only the highest quality ingredients. The Hometown Buffet offers hot entrees, salad bar, side dishes, even the bakery desserts and hot and cold beverages are included, all for one low price, and with 5 valley-wide locations to serve you. Visit the Hometown Buffet today. They've got so many choices it would take a week to try them all. The Hometown Buffet, Visa Discover and MasterCard accepted.
You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Hello, hello, hello. You know, Mr. O'Connor does this every time, Eric. We're nearing the final part of the show. It's approximately 8 o'clock here in Arizona, and he always plays something about food.
Making us hungry.
And I find the last part of this show is very difficult to get through when he keeps talking about Hometown Buffet and
we can eat your sardines.
all of the, we want a snack pack, and here we're, here you open our sardines. Here we go ahead. Well, last time you were here, I think you were going to have your wife make bat soup.
That's correct. I was, as a matter of fact.
Nice
That's
bowl
exactly
of
right.
Bat soup on the way home.
That's right.
Anyway, listen, I want to tell you all something, and it is really important that you understand this. Occasionally, people will come to me, or they will write and say, you're not giving your audience in the first segments, you're not giving your guest time to talk to the audience. Well, that's because these people aren't supposed to be on the first segment, but we allow them to come and sit down. Now, if this were true radio, you wouldn't know they were sitting here. But because we have television and internet today, this is a radio show. But you would think it's a TV show because we show you things, we discuss things, we wave at you, hi, Mom, and we look at each other and we, how you doing, And so when you see people there and you say, oh, let them talk. Sometimes they can sit back here, and I ask them, I give them a choice. Would you like to sit up in front here? Would you like to sit back there? And sometimes I've had a couple people say, we'll sit in the back, but most people want to sit in the front. And I've always told them, if you would like to join in, please join in. You're more than free to ask questions of whomever we have here or part of the discussion. So, please do that, please understand that some of these people, like Monday night, we just had phenomenal guests. Monday night was phenomenal. And we had Irene Pye here, and she's very popular. She's very popular. People love her because she talks about anti-vaccines. Don't let people inject your body with things you have no concept, with mercury and other things, rat droppings, I don't know what all. And people were saying, oh, we want to hear her. Well, we had Jeff Ooch on at the beginning of the show, and he could only be on for a short time. So when you see some of these things, please try to understand that's what we're doing. I'm not trying to rush these people. Secondly, we normally have a classroom event on Monday nights. We had before this happened, Eric. You've been to some of our Arizona Project meetings, and we're just now off of our lockdown, and we have some issues here that I just want everybody to know. People are calling, when are you going to go back to that? When are you going to go back to that? Well, because we're no longer locked down, there's still some questions. Can we still have meetings of more than 10 people? That hasn't been decided yet. The legislature is meeting today because there's some liabilities. Like, we lease these properties that we have here, and if people come to a meeting and they say, hey, you've been negligent, you let people sit more than 6 or closer than 6 feet apart, and I got the crud, the virus, from coming to one of your meetings, there's lawsuit issues that are going on. Now, there is a meeting tonight that people are having, but they're having it in a public restaurant. Therefore, the liability is the restaurants, not. This is our facility that we lease, and it's not the landlord. I mean, I just got a notice that they want to know how much insurance we have in case we get sued. And so they don't have any liability. And so please understand that. I'd like to get back to these meetings. I know a lot of you would like to meet some of the folks we have in person, and I would like to do that. I think we're going to have a combination of things. We've learned a lot of technologies here. Mike O'Connor's been very good. We can talk to people across country. We've talked to people from New Jersey, had them right here effectively on show. So please understand all that. These are things that are going on, and I don't know the answers to them. The legislature is meeting, trying to resolve some of these things, and I don't know what they've come up with today. Yesterday, once again, Eric, Republicans are trying to solve these issues. What did the Democrats do? I move to adjourn.
Yeah. Well, does that surprise you?
No,
I mean,
they just don't want to. They just don't want to face the issues that society has. Society's got to move on. We can't sit here forever and say, oh, we got the virus here, so nothing's going to happen for the next 10 years.
And Ronnie, your meetings are great. So, and as people, we want to be social. So
Yes.
I would encourage, use great common sense practice when it comes to wash your hands often. If you don't feel good, stay home, right?
Exactly.
And then we can start to congregate and do what people need, social interaction. And one of the best ways to do that is at one of your meetings.
Yes, because we are social animals.
Yes, we are.
Have to. I mean, if you're alone, you kind of go stir crazy. Any rate, I wanted to talk about another issue. We're in the last throes of this wonderful show tonight. I wanted to talk about something that many of you probably have never heard about, and I talked to Eric a little bit about this, and it's the China social credit scores. Remember, everything China. We got the restaurant because they were closed because of
China virus.
And so here's what we've got. This is, I don't know if any of you ever read the book. It was George Orwell's 1984, and it was talking about a society that was socially managed by the ruling class. So I'm going to read a couple of things here, and you'll begin to see. Imagine calling a friend, only instead of hearing the ringtone, you hear a police siren, and with the voice intonation, be careful in your dealings with this person. So you call somebody, and it says, be careful with your dealings of this person. Would you put a damper on that relationship? I suppose it's a welcome to China's social credit system, where there's a low score, you can ruin your life in more ways than one. The government determines what kind of a person you are. If you drink,
unbelievable.
If you drink excessively, you get a credit score that's low. So here's one of the things, and I actually saw this in play because they're trying to get this whole thing together this year, this social scoring this year in 2020. They want it totally in effect. And I saw some people that they had interviewed, and it says, say you arrive at the Beijing airport intending to catch a flight to Canton, which is 1,200 miles south. The clerk at the ticket counter turns you away because, you guessed it, your social score is too low.
That's unbelievable, Ronnie. I mean, that is so frightening. That is absolutely that's
so here
chills up my spine.
Here you go. Not only are you publicly humiliated when they turn you away in front of a line of people, say your social credit score is too low, but now you're forced to travel by a slow train. Instead of a 3-hour flight, you're taking a 30-hour train trip with stop and go at various stations. I saw this on the television where there was a gentleman that had actually gotten stopped and they wouldn't let him go. He did have to take a train instead of a flight. This is a real story. Now, one of the things here that we say, well, how do you know? Well, remember a few years ago, there was this thing, you get this nice little syringe and we go, and there's a chip in there.
Right.
Remember that? And it was, everybody's going to have to be a chip. We have to have an identifier put somewhere in your hands. And most Americans said, absolutely not. We're never going to go for that. Well, then they found something else. They don't have to do that. Because now there's television cameras everywhere, and they have facial recognition software in it. And what they can do is they take the distance between your eyes and your nose and your mouth, and they take a photograph of you, and it's put into a computer. And then as you walk around, these computers are looking at you, and it can identify who you are. Pretty freaky, if you ask me.
Well, not only that, they can simplify it and use your iPhone.
Well,
it's like contract tracing. I know where you're at. You're at the bar.
Tracing,
you're at the,
That's another thing, the contract
right?
tracing.
So there's another way to determine if someone has been
it's really interesting in that I don't know how many of you take photographs with your phones, but I do. I take a lot of photographs, and later on I go to look at it again. And I go, well, I wonder where that is, and I pull the picture up, and it says taken 12/20 in Scottsdale.
Yeah, exactly.
And I could do another one that says taken 12/31 in Glendale. It knows exactly where I was. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, that's kind of an intrusion into my personal life. But this thing just goes on, Eric, and it talks about punishments. And you were reading this, and this is pretty doggone scary. I'll let you read that section. Do you remember where it was?
I
where
do.
It said,
I want you guys to think about how frightening this is and how this should put your senses on high alert. One person, understand what happens. So if you're not good enough, you can be arrested and sent to a re-education camp. You might not have committed a crime.
A la Nazism.
A la Nazism. If this isn't fascism and Hitler, Hitler did this to the Jews with re-education. China wants to do it to their own people,
their own
Ronnie,
citizens.
because they aren't socially correct in their, social justice score isn't good enough or whatever it may be. When's it rolling out, Ronnie?
2020, it's supposed to be complete.
2020.
Now some of these things, too, you can get your score down in the tank. How do you bring it up, Eric? You snitch on people.
That's exactly what you do.
Hey, I saw Mr. O'Connor last night. He was at a bar. He was drunk.
Kind of sounds like...
I'm the hero. Now Mr. O'Connor gets deep sixed.
Kind of sounds like some of the governors that are on lockdown, and if somebody goes out and violates their executive order, they're incentivized to snitch, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, there's been some states now. Remember this, in the United States, thank God, and you heard the president, the federal government is the backup to state governments.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't rule the states. The states determine what they want to do. We're open now. Some states aren't. Many states are. And the bottom line is, who determines this? They had people that were not wearing masks, and the police grabbed them. They tried to get away. The police grabbed them, and knocked him to the ground. The police weren't wearing masks, but they were grabbing somebody for not wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talk about idiocy. Listen, now we've got Summer Place, and we got Summer Place, and it's hot outside. That's because it's summer. Hey, listen, we're going to be back again next week on Fighting Back. You have a good week.